I want the minority leader to know that being in leadership position comes with a lot of responsibility. And managing that with your emotion and what you say and what you don't say is very, very important.
Eti Afenyo-Markin still papa no da so e wo trouble mu no eja tutum eja kokko eja hyehe eja bole eja guni chem kasani hit wate. Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Appiagyei say baby asem na duru wanka bia enye. Say baby asem na duru wanka bia enye. Me boss Alexander Afenyo-Markin say papa no, according to Ghana Parliament, I refer to the Privileges Committee. Now the omuka say ni na say papa Alexander Afenyo-Markin wonya contempt of court, contempt of Parliament. Ni na say ECOWAS parliamentar. Ye ka tell say papa menko mensi ho ye yi afri so ye de Appiagyei ene afofofo ana eko ana baba say chinchin atwan lai on tia say de biara da ana mpanyampa wan tia se entia say wan tia se no ene ekowie ni say ene ye bebi aduru no papa no odo de ne pe ebeko ogoba ya Ghana Parliament according to the majority leader papa your friend Mahama Ayerga said wanfani di ni bo anfa ma Ghana Parliament categorically clear state say Afenyo-Markin you cannot go, but Afenyo-Markin why you ho say you cannot go ana wako and this one go through honko adia na dey say unibuo singing respect e dey ma Ghana Parliament. Due to that they are referred to Ghana Privileges Committee. The deputy minority leader Mame Appiagyei ese mumfa ne bone nche no wodi ka pa chodada wo say oye sorry now sorry na achi na o kan ye no were ready so be show remorse na mom no papa no willing so obe serve Ghana awo Ghana eba in terms of your parliament in the ECOWAS so serve bi it is obe so oye nko ade why not mo man no kwan no nkonko ye serve ma no fa ma Ghana na say ya man no kwan na say ye kwese majority no chinchin atwan ye be bully papa ye friend no Alexander Afenyo-Markin as ye shada am MPP phone na no akwese against leader so man fight chairman asema ba omo kubi man no so ana Ghana phone na bibia ni a na dey say omo dey politics omo say nyansa but ye ma Afenyo-Markin enko back to the ECOWAS parliament at the same times enfa na born in channel the Privileges Committee and forget the case no now way ana NDC phone say wo ka say mo nko a ana munipa no owa no de bia no we are the mighty minority. We will show them where the power lies. We will let them know that even though our numbers are small, but we will give them tough time. Now tough time nature we are not tough time so bad. I think a tough time for us as a Ghana. According to Inusah Fuseini, our former MP, Tamale Central, say Afenyo-Markin should be on his way to the General Legal Council as a lawyer. You can't scandalize the court in the way he has.
I say he should be on his way to the General Legal Council. Not because he's a minority leader, but because he's a lawyer. And he scandalized himself in his profession.
What if he has facts? What he has facts about the judge being paid.
So he goes there to show the facts. The facts will be his defense. He goes there to produce the facts as defense. But he can't scandalize the courts in the way he has done. As a lawyer, he can't do that. And he's a lawyer. So that's what you should understand. And secondly, I'm scandalized by the arguments of Ajapamesa. He's a lawyer. And that is the court of first instance, for God's sake. The decision is a court of first instance. And in the election petition, the decision ends at the Court of Appeal. And Martin Yindang has told everybody in Ghana that he's appealed against the decision. He's appealed the decision to the Court of Appeal. So why can't you wait and argue your case in the Court of Appeal? And he seems to have lost what happened in our recent history. How can you sit on TV and say that you can go to court and ask, and the court will give you what you have not asked for, and that will never happen? It happened. Afenyo-Markin went to court for an interim injunction to restrain the speaker from declaring the seat vacant. He was given a perpetual injunction.
Yeah.
He was given a perpetual injunction. What are you saying, Adepa Mensah?
What did you say? Did you say that was allowed? That was okay?
Was it not?
What I'm saying that he didn't ask for it. Even Afenyo-Markin did not ask for a perpetual injunction.
Exactly. So you faulted the court for that, did you not?
I'm saying that he went to court to ask for an interim injunction. That's the argument. And he was given what he did not ask for.
And my question is, what did the NDC say? That judgment was procured by...
The proposition that you can go to court. The proposition that you can go to court and be given what you have not asked for, it cannot happen.
But is it not curious? Is it not curious that you have a petitioner who goes to court?
But I wrote it down. I was like,
over 41 polling stations. As I understand, the 41 polling stations will give you a total of about 500 votes or so. I don't know if I get my figures correct about that. You would know. And the difference in the win between him and Yindam will be about 1,600. So if you faulted the 500, votes, it doesn't do anything. How do you go to nullify the whole results? That's the question.
So again, Samson, we must await the decision of the court, the written judgment of the court. But I worked in Pandai. Before the elections and on the election day. And the collection center, which had been gazetted, was moved without notice to the petitioner, the party who petitioned in court. So you have to understand, you have to read the whole judgment to understand the thinking. But be it as it may, what I'm saying is that as lawyers, we know that the High Court's decision is a decision of a court of first instance. And an election petition doesn't end at the High Court. It ends at the Court of Appeal. And there are many cases, and in the Dr. Yakubu's case that they cited, I was involved in that case. The court used a mathematical formula to arrive at a decision that Dr. Yakubu was not validly elected as MP. The Court of Appeal reversed the decision and condemned the decision of the High Court. So you cannot run ahead of the total, determination of the matter. And that is why Speaker Bagman, keenly aware that the Court of Appeal, the High Court, is not the final court in an election petition, said Yindam cannot lose his seat until the Court of Appeal listens.
No, that's not what Bagwin has said. Bagwin has said that the attempt to prevent Yindam from being in the House without waiting for the statutory 7 days of stay after a judgment is wrong.
But to be fair,
that's what Bagwin said.
Speaker
that's
added
what Bagwin said.
Yes, he added, Inusah, if you may, he added that the filing of the motion
appeal
for stay pursuant to the appeal could extend that 7-day statutory.
But it's
yes, he said so. I was listening to him.
Samson,
no,
but Samson, you know that even if a decision of a court is given statutorily and by practice and convention of the judiciary and of lawyers, we do not execute the judgment until after the expiration of 7 days.
Yes,
we know that, and we do that for good reason. Secondly, he's filed a stay of execution. Yes, the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have said that a stay of execution does not operate as a stay of the execution of the judgment. So the High Court, or in fact, you have to file it in the High Court.
Okay.
The High Court will have to pronounce on it.
All right.
Then we know that the final court in an election petition is the Court of Appeal. So why will we run ahead of time?
Right.
So we can't criticize the decision of the High Court.
Thank you. But you will agree. You will agree that what the minority sought to do in Parliament was wrong. The very day the judgment is given, you are saying the man should not sit in the House, when by law there is automatic stay of the judgment for 7 days.
That's theatrics. That's Parliament. That's theatrics. But because the one who was saying so is also a lawyer, and he knows it. So that's theatrics.
But lawyers can get it wrong. Thank you very much. Yes, Susan.
But Samson, you should know that. I mean, if you are in Parliament and there is a decision annulling your elections, you will take steps to ensure that you vindicate your position and your election. And so that will try to take steps to vindicate the position that he was validly elected.
Okay. Wait, Afenyo-Markin, after the day, you didn't someone so on privilege committee in Parliament. No, Saturday another say we got to a young peer. We did judges for them. So omuni mweduma there's a bomb. Omo ye corrupt and omagodi case. Our Tamale High Court, ama Pandai, MP, Papa no ye say. Hey, na kunya no yes, I'm going to about you. I don't say we as a lawyer, who approach a lawyer, a judge in chain, echo make a case, say better maybe be a client and all. What condemn judge, did judges attempt? How? Was it Afenyo-Markin say, what can I say? What dinner was says someone or your lawyer. Moi, even your opportunity, I can say about judgment. Now, worse now, all you soon. Eddie must have judge no. Eya dia obi a onsi law school da. Obi a ahwagro onsi classroom da. Onya sa effrontery no. Onya sa naive and ignorant. Eni sa tem no. Enti eye ne nwanwa pi. Say obi a oye member of Parliament o say lawyer mo a. Ebetimi ga kasa ansem no. Ede Ghana judges. At the same time we can we a. O say expect say subsequent case a ebekọ no. De biara bibi ebekọ so ya dia mo. Enti asem na nkoso yi ma we eyesu ntokwa a friend say aminebo we a wo so say so amanfo kumu president efri hifa we ebesi da ben we ni nsema Inusah Fuseini former MP Tamale Central NDC communicator e kan efa Afenyo-Markin say papa na de suffer na de e so man suffer more now according to Mutaka Mohammed Mubarak, the interior minister, Papa ne say, Papa ye friend no Inusah Fuseini, unsem na cover Afenyo-Markin no. Okura dey dey say, unyen duye. Or say I'm worried about the posture of the minority leader. The judiciary might be hesitant to take action because of the position he occupies in the rancor and political division it may create. I expect him to be more responsible as a minority leader.
I'm worried because, Robert, we're in November. Remember last year this time, what he was saying about the court. And since then, I don't know whether this High Court judge who was appointed this year. I mean, you see, my worry is that, and all of us sometimes get guilty of it when the emotions come, but you have to be careful the way you do the criticism. Because this one, like I said, that's why I will call it insinuations. It goes beyond just criticizing the decision. One, you are painting the whole judiciary with the same brush. This is a lawyer, this is a minority leader.
You guys are guilty of the same.
You are saying that paymasters. You are saying that they knew the possible outcome. Samson, you are a lawyer, and you and I have been in court a number of times, right? And there have been instances when we are going, we expect, and you tell me, I mean, you sometimes tell me, this one is 50-50. It could go this way, it could go that way. You tell me it's 50-50, it go this way. And sometimes I tell them, okay, if it goes this way, what should we do? If it's that way, what should we do?
That's right.
And I prepare for any of the 50-50, isn't it?
That's right.
So how do you then say that based on that 50-50 that you, my lawyer, told me, and I prepare in a certain response, it means that the judge is paid. I mean, when you do this, we then, by our action and inaction and comments, weaken the very judiciary that we expect to be strong. Because now, let's assume if we go to the appeals court and they tender the issue of the High Court judge, should the majority leader come out and say that the appeal court judges are also corrupt and they've been paid by you and all that? I mean, so I'm worried about the posture of the minority leader, and I think that yes, it's not immune completely, but I want to believe the judiciary may be hesitant because of the position that he's occupying and the possible rancor and political division that it may create. But I must say that it's very disappointing to hear the minority leader say this, and I expect him to be more responsible as a minority leader in this comment. I mean, we were in the leadership, and something you will bear me, there have been instances emotions go so high. Oh, but still. But we need to be measured. And I maybe I should assist him by telling that he must learn and get his facts right. You remember when, after the former majority leader, Honorable Chairman Sabons, after we elected Speaker, said that, oh, we were bribing, we were trying to influence some of their members. Then, out of emotion, I said that, you who were trying to influence the other. In the case, you even were trying to get some Supreme Court judges to influence some members. You remember the heat I had to go through? I had to apologize. Because I had to apologize. I didn't mention any specific name. I just said that, we know that you have even used a Supreme Court judge to do this. And something you knew, as I know, that look, we had the phone number because it was unknown. We had the conversation 8 minutes, but the court will not give us the order for MTN to give us the audio. So I said that, look, you, my colleague, who told me this information, you told me you have recorded it, not knowing that it was swept, it was clean on her phone. So we didn't have it. And everybody said that, look, but this one, Sam George is the communication minister. So he was the one who did all the tracking, all the numbers and everything with Lawyer Tatuchi Carter and others. They were all insisting that, no, you have to stand your ground. I said, no. Ethics should be very, very important. Once we cannot get the actual evidence, it will be unfair for the other Supreme Court judges. Because if I had mentioned a specific judge, it will be between myself and that judge. Now I've said the whole Supreme Court judges. And now the very evidence we're relying on is destroyed. And we can't have it from the court because the court will not grant us to go to MTN to get it. I think that the most decent thing to do is to apologize. And I did apologize. And I have no regret apologizing because if it was down to me, I expect an apology. I want the minority leader to know that being in leadership position comes with a lot of responsibility. And managing that with your emotion and what you say and what you don't say is very, very important. And as he's the lead person, I was a whip.
You, the majority, have already pushed him to the wall, especially with this ECOWAS Parliament matter. Yes. And now they actually held a press conference just yesterday, Patricia Appiagyei, the deputy, asking the speaker to apologize and so on, and then the petition citing him to the Privileges Committee to be withdrawn unconditionally, among others.
But I mean,
why do you cite your minority leader to appear for discipline at the Privileges Committee?
When we were taking that decision in the chamber, try and get the video, I spoke and I gave the history. I'm with all humility, Samson, and with a greater respect to our listeners, I am nobody. As my brother here knows, by the grace of God, I've been the longest serving whip this country has ever seen. I've served as majority whip and minority whip. And he knows. There's something we call in the parliament, we call the chamber dynamics. I'm gifted with it. He knows. I'm very good, but God has given me that gift. I'm able, that day I predicted this. And I sent a caution to him that don't go to ECOWAS Parliament and embarrass us. Because when you do, it will trigger parliamentary privileges. I don't know, he didn't listen. Because what we do in the House and took a decision, you go and contrary against that decision. So, as individual, in an external parliament, like ECOWAS Parliament,
her consent was never sought. She just heard the announcement for her to take over his place. She can't do that.
It is something that is in the House, and he knows. I came to meet it. Honorable Chairman Sabonso, they were there from the beginning because he was there from 1996. When they created the parliament, they did decide that it's a mixture of leadership and middle and back benches. So, for example, in ECOWAS, it has always been the chief whip on both sides. Then you have other members going. Then in Pan-African Parliament, you have the deputy speaker, the deputy leaders, and other members going. By the time it got to my turn as whip, I was already a backbencher member of the Pan-African Parliament. Then I persuaded the House that, can you kindly allow me, I've built some experience here, instead of switching to ECOWAS Parliament, to remain in Pan-African Parliament. And the House graciously agreed. That's how come the regime then changed. Then the whips now are in Pan-African Parliament and deputy leaders. So it is for the position. So if, for example, we send a deputy majority whip, and then you lose that position, you are supposed to be out. In my case, remember when we were removing leadership? In fact, they were attempting to replace me. Then, but I was chairing the Finance Committee of Pan-African Parliament. Then the Deputy Speaker, Osewusu, Honorable Osewusu, together with the senior member, Honorable Collins, went to the Speaker to say, look, Honorable Muntaka, yes, by virtue of being removed from the leadership, automatically loses his position. But we are pleading that because he chairs the Finance Committee of Pan-African Parliament, taking him out will mean Ghana will lose that position. But we are love only 5 months.
Why couldn't the same thing be done for Afenyo?
No, but the reality is that the reality is that there are other privileges. That they even remember on the floor. I even said, look, I will list all the privileges that the leaders have. Why they don't go to the Pan-African Parliament and ECOWAS, and they are kept to IPU and CPA. IPU is International Parliamentary Union, and then CPA is Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. The privileges the leaders have in the House, believe me, it is something that you. If you are a backbencher, you hear it. You are not careful. Every day you be fighting with your leader.
But in any case, the deputy says, I don't want to keep it.
Because, no, you see the optics of it. And I'm sorry to say that you can't expose private conversations. Look, it is not for her to say that I don't want. Because it's a position that is meant for her. Yes, I know there have been instances where people say that, like Bedra. No, sorry, Appiagyei. Mm-hmm. Appiagyei was supposed to go. Then he says that, look, I'm leaving it for Bedra, Honorable Bedra to go. I will keep the chairing of the public accounts and allow Honorable Bedra from my caucus to go replace me. But even that, the House has to take a decision. And the House took a decision, okay, we agree with you. In this case, the House disagreed with him. I can tell you, because that decision is not for individual. I can say that, I want Honorable Susan to replace me. But the House must take that decision. In his case, the House disagreed with him and said, no, we are not going to allow a leader to go. Because if a leader goes, it is going to distort the House.
Okay, and we just had a discussion about prudence.
The Interior Minister, our former friend is a whip, Edema, the minority, at that time for the NDC, Papa Mubarak, Mohammed Muntaka, Afenyo-Markin, the Uya Yene de Tessa or Duni on Tiasia, say, Judge for Guayama or much in the contempt of court. Hey, the arms of government, and so be operating independently. Other than a judge and a interfere, meanwhile, or no interfere. It is here, or pet, and what was a NDC for, and I got a judge yet, and a judge, a NDC dinty, and or taking that action. Was it as not a critic? Let me say, and Timodia, a do political angle, Nadia, we use political friends and lenses, and I would make judgments, not making conclusions. Oh, very good. Fine case, but another say, I don't for no, don't now your course I know here. You do any political class be and young one. Say Ghana, young man be a young woman be a episode or affiliated to a political party, or episode a political party attempt, said a beer and the paymaster and asking the boss. The godfather, everyone said, yeah, good lad. Who bought you my pass? Said, be a dachi. So when you say, ma, penny the baker be a man, one, mamma naba. But Afenyo-Markin in Quango can be a contempt of court, a jumping wrong. I heard your judge for and jump you. Yet, but according to the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, I say, Afenyo-Markin, who push now the year judge in the one yard. Now, wait, and you go your patch or say, ECOWAS Parliament.
To this end, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues in the minority that although we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we must fear no evil. Let's remain strong. Refuse to be intimidated. Refuse the subtle culture of silence. Let's soldier on. Victory awaits us.
Afenyo-Markin say bre ewo NDC fo nsa no Afenyo-Markin say baby what do no Ghana for monye no wate mo ma no nye no kakra enye sa se mo papa no afon adan Afenyo-Markin say onwari deputy deputy minority leader Mame Patricia Appiagyei pa chairman say oh debi privileges committee in parliament montum bas munya botre monye lala sulu la kakra bi fama na mu wi a moja no na monsama ne nko back to ECOWAS parliament sana NDC for na lane have just a strong 11 pa Real Madrid ne Barcelona o mu jina mo say kiane kin nipa na on wadi judge for time na ye yen kan wi ye no wo say pa chairman hwe kon your first di judge for time yen tiase ye ni abre ko yen tiase na mesi wei and the Afenyo-Markin say asem sebe and ye wo asem bi ekapa because NDC for side eso mo tiase but aden na mo go share public place a mo di nkomo sere kama mo betena camera no so na mo di nkomo te say de mo tam ho mo go do parliament asa mo kuani asa ye mamutu anka woni be chutu mo pepe mo be every parliament na ma so mo sahwe na no ye awo the late Nana Kunadu Ajima the final barrier ube say majority leader and minority leader Mahama Yagani Afenyo-Markin Allah bromance omudi nkomo kama sere have fun share ideas and sometimes any man forward that to say do these people really mean what they say on camera on TV in parliament but ASR yeah train the privilege committee ever declare me because still I keep on repeating the daughter of a murderer yenyanya no parliament no mu nawo hwensi yente edi se sa na be ko so aye dia ahwe na Ghanaian youth ense da nye didie ewe mu but se esi na se itimi panache Afenyo-Markin if indeed you find say onya contempt of parliament then Ghanaians will know say a parliamentarian is not above the Ghana constitution but for now there ye kom ana ye hwemo baako ye twen de mo beye ye twen de mo beka ye twen de besie why a naked truth our Oldboga trends for comment no to comment section na si uya subscribe like na share mu unya eso enye bi enwe di no era so baako pe Maxi Billian our naked truth on Oldboga trends. Bye bye.